Vibe Tribe, this is Jess with Life Force Energy. Today is such a special day. Today is 11/11/20. This is where the portal opens and you can go ahead and communicate to the universe of what you're calling into your existence. And I absolutely love this date because every year I have used it to ask for specifics and I have been granted them. And I'm very grateful. I even have some ready to do. But we're going to do a two-part series. First, we're going to talk about cleansing your energy. And then we're going to talk about, in the next part, about how you can manifest. Okay, so the first thing that we want to talk about, how can we cleanse our space? Have you ever walked into a location and you just felt that the energy was yucky? You became irritable. Maybe you started feeling sick to your body. You may even have felt like nervous or anxious, or a headache starts to come on. I've had people tell me, depending on what intuitive senses that they have within them, like what clairs they possess, that they'll walk into a space and they are completely impacted by the energy. We have to imagine if you were to go to a restaurant and they were to serve you with dirty dishes. And people are like, that's ridiculous. Well, kind of imagine not doing that with your home. Would you want your home to be constantly filled with emotion? You're running the news, you're on conversations, you had a fit, you were sick. May not have been all those things, but there is a cluster of other energies that walk into your space, whether they are visitors or people in your home. So the way that you want to keep your area clear is using different methods of removing stagnant energy so that you can allow your home to be a nice and comfortable, or your space, wherever you're using this techniques for. You want to create a place where it feels safe and comfortable, inviting and soothing, in a place of peace where you can create and design a reality that you want, because you're not being overwhelmed with negative thought forms or emotions or sensations running throughout the body. How do you know if the place needs to get cleared? Well, let's talk about that. We just talked about how you can feel by the body. If you start noticing in your space that things are not going your way, that means you may have neglected to keep your room or your space, your home, office, from being cleared. You want to at least try to clear at least once a week. When I have my office and I work, I clear every day. So that helps my business area a lot. But I have to do the whole home, and I usually do it about once a week. So when you start noticing that there's arguments, or people are like in a weird way, they're just very moody, then you want to clear space. Do you have starseed children? Children that you think may be very imaginative or a bit much on the energy front, and they're very sensitive to the stagnant energy that is building up in their space. So if you have children that are able to see, feel, hear, know things, they're able to pick up. You must keep your space clear at least every other day. And there's so many ways. I'm going to tell you that it really, honestly, you can do this daily, and I'll share reasons why. Okay, first we want to talk about sound. Sound has an ability to raise the spiritual vibration. Sound can be using music. Who doesn't love music? Anyone can put it on. Your child can put on music. You can say, child, go ahead and put on that song for me. Press play. Get them involved. I have my 5-year-old very involved in learning how to clear space. She gets to use different methods, and I'm going to show you. So the first one, you can go ahead and run music. In any apps now, like Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, anywhere really, you can go ahead and type in cleansing energy, or removing negative energy, and it'll come up with all these different like megahertz that will help and achieve that. A lot of people love classical music because of all the variations of frequencies that are encompassed, and it's actually almost reminds me of sacred geometry, the way classical music. So if you can't have any other form of music and you love classical music, then run that. And if you're like, I don't want classical music, well, how about nature sounds like waterfalls? How about ocean waves? One of my go-to favorites as a child. That's how I used to clear my space. Not even knowing, but I was already accessing my intuition and just doing it. So I would listen to ocean waves. crackling fire sounds. There's like this thing on YouTube for those of you that want that fireplace sound or a camping fireplace camping sound. You can actually put it on and you'll hear the crackling sounds of the wood and the burning and the fire elements. It's to me I like what it does to my senses. So it does inspire me and it gets my fire energy built up. Now, another way that you can use sound is I have a couple of options right here. Now, different sounds are powerful in creating like a clearing and transmuting of energy. But I do want to make sure, I don't know if you can see, I do have my window cracked. So there's a way that you can do it. There's a couple ways. So here's sound. Sound we can use our Tingsha cymbals. There's different ones with different sound frequencies. These ones are a little higher, as you can tell, because I use these ones for when I'm doing a clearing. After I've done my Reiki sessions or when I'm doing my meditations and I want it to clear, I like the sound frequency that's released. That's very gentle. When I want it a little stronger, it's a higher pitch. And so you could use Tingsha cymbals and go to the corners of your space. You can do it over your own body. You can cleanse someone that way. I've done all those methods. Absolutely love it. Everyone feels really soothed and relaxed. When you're opening up a meditation, when you're closing it, during, you can use Tingsha. My little girl, she literally walks around and I'll tell her, clear the space. And I have her walk around and just hit the cymbals and clear it. And I'll show her how to manipulate the strings. So for example, you can manipulate the sound. Now go to the corners. And you can kind of pull it up. Pull it up. You can even go right to the front of the chakras and that'll help clear. So anyways, that's one of the ones that I like to use. Very simple to use. We also have a song bowl. Now also song bowls come in different sounds of frequencies, as you got to hear that one. So you'd basically, like I just did, you would hit the rim and you allow the sound to travel. You want to have a nice flat hand so that it can distribute the vibrations evenly. So you could use this as well. Now say, for example, you don't have those tools. That's all right. You have hands. And if you can't use your hands for any reason, you can have someone else that is nearby to do the clapping. So I use this right before I start my workshops or during any kind of meditations. I have my students, because they're going to use their own energy to clear their space when we're doing anything online. Now, when we had face-to-face before COVID, everyone still got up and I had everyone doing it. Not only was it great to clear their space, but they were empowering themselves at the same time. They were gaining confidence and they felt the energy rushing through their body and they were clearing as they were doing so. Now, the way you do it is simple. You would go ahead and take your hands just like this, and you're going to make the clapping motion at the corners of your space. You can even do it in front of yourself. You can do different sounds. Whichever, there's different pitches. Remember, different sounds create different vibrational frequencies throughout the space. That's what you want to do. You want to go ahead and pick up whatever clutter we picked up energetically, emotionally, through negative thought forms. When people are ill or if someone passed away, there's a lot of intensity, especially with what's been going on. Our news have been on. We've been, having it run through our home. There's just been so much intensities. So you want to be able to do that. So simple as that, clapping. Going to the corners, clapping. You can even go in front of yourself and clap. Like go in front of your chakras. I'll show you. And you can clap. So like going to the heart. And setting the intention. I think of green light energy. Okay? So those are just one of the other ways that you could use. So those are sounds. You can also use your words. Our words are spells, they're intentions, they're prayers, they're commands. So you can even speak affirmations throughout this space. You can, speak protection. You can speak white light energy, white light energy, white light energy. All throughout this space, you're commanding your voice. You can sing, you can hum, you can click your tongue. If you've noticed in other cultures, sound is their way of communicating to the universe, to source. They open up the portal, and what a perfect time to do this with, right? On this date especially. You can do this anytime, anywhere that you're allowed to be able to clear the energies. Now, the other way that I have here is using smoke, sacred smoke, smoke cleansing. I have currently running is my incense. Now this isn't just any ordinary incense. This is pure frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh have the metaphysical properties of protection, purification, and also changing the spiritual vibration. Now, it's very simple the way you could use this. And it's very affordable too. You can travel with it because I had to travel a lot prior to COVID. And so let me give you an idea. Okay. You can use this if you have any, if you're connected as a healer, a light worker, and you use for symbols. So go ahead and make your symbols with it. Okay. Then you can go ahead and use it to cleanse yourself. So you can go from crown and going all throughout the body and speaking you could do Reiki, you could do theta healing, you can do commands, you can do prayers, going underneath the feet. You're going to go ahead and clear the whole body and go all the way down. You can also use this to clear your space, open it up and prepare yourself for meditation. Now, again, this is just pure grade, high quality frankincense and myrrh. Yes, you can use, I guess, any other incense, but I'm always looking for what's going to impact my energy. So I invest in very high quality items when I am going to use them to clear myself or to set an intention or to do any kind of spiritual work. So you could use frankincense and myrrh. It's one of my favorites to use. Here at my store, it is made by artisans, and they dip it, and that's all they use. So there's no chemicals because I don't use any kind of chemicals that can harm my body because of my lifestyle. I have chosen to go that way. Now, the other way that most common rituals are used to and accustomed to is using, say, Palo Santo and also sage. So I have California white sage. I have been harvesting for over 7 years. So this is my own little stash that I use. So for mine, remember again, having those windows open because energy has got to go somewhere. So let the smoke take up the negative energy and pull it out of your home. So I'm just going to grab one little leaf for now. And what I love about sage is great for cleansing the space. It's antimicrobial. It's great for clearing out bacteria. It's fantastic for when you're doing healings, meditation, readings. You want to use white sage if you can, or another form of sage when you are going to be doing your cleansings. So I'm just going to go ahead and light the tip. Now, all of my sage has been given Reiki and theta healing. I Reiki the sage bush. I do not pull the leaves unless it has been released to me. And that's all you need. I don't know if you guys can see how much it smokes. And so I prepare my sage with life force energy, Reiki, theta healing. I water the sage plant as I am pulling from it, so it's an even exchange. I let the sage plant know what I'm going to use it for, and so the leaves that have come with me are here for the direct purpose of clearing and cleansing the energy of somebody or the space. And I use it for manifestation and rituals, and to also to prepare my candles. You can also use sage to clear your crystals. So it's a wonderful way to use. You can go ahead and use that. You would go around your space and you would go ahead and say your intentions about how you are releasing negative thought forms, negative emotions, or emotional outburst, illness, disease, stagnant energies, entities that do not belong in the space. May they go to the white light. Whatever ways that you clear, you want to use sage. Now, you can also use Palo Santo. It's a very small piece. I have different sizes, but what I like about saging, like the first time when you're using your smudging practice to clear and using your sage, I use Palo Santo. It's a joy. It's to restore the joy. So, I should mention, whenever you're clearing energy, you have to imagine that it becomes empty almost, like very clear, very light and airy. So when you are going to clear out, you need to put the intention of what you want to fill it in with. Like the intention of protection, divine intervention from your angels, your spirit guides, white light energy, certain colors you want to put in, putting in intentions of protection. Because when you clear your energy, you leave it open for other energies to come in and sneak through, because they're going to be like, wow. Remember, spirits can walk across your yard, can go through your home, because, or the neighbors next door is doing something crazy, and that energy enters into your space. You got to clear it because it's looking for that clean area. So you want to fill in, as you're taking out negative energy, you want to put in the intentions of positivity, protection, and other light energy, other sound. So just wanted to mention that. But you can use Palo Santo for that. Now the other one that I wanted to talk about. So yes, I also use an old custom. I use charcoal and frankincense, like the resin, or myrrh as well. And I like to go and cleanse, and I have a whole ritual about cleansing. So there's those ways. But what happens to people that are not able to deal with smoke? For example, what if you have newborns, infants, toddlers, children with asthmatic issues, or people who have respiratory issues? You shouldn't do any of this type of techniques in front of your little ones, because their lungs and their capacity of being able to take in that kind of smoke it overwhelms anybody's system, really, especially like birds, cats, dogs, reptiles. So you may want to try a smudgeless alternative, or if you're going to do that, have your people who are sensitive to smoke outside of the space and then return. And as you have the house aired out, it should be just fine when they enter. Give it some time, of course. Now there's smudgeless cleansing techniques that kids can and infants and pets can be around. So for example, there are smudge sprays. You can find them at metaphysical stores. You can order them online. You can go through Etsy. You can get them here, even through Life Force Energy. We designed our very own custom created moon energy waters. This was a recipe that has been in our ancestors for a very long time, but when I came into the downline, I was given different recipe, same concepts of using plants and using crystals, using the moon and sun energy, the feminine and the masculine, and placing holy fire, Reiki, and ThetaHealing on specific moon cycles based upon what the properties are that will influence the water. Because water is mutable, it changes, it absorbs, it transitions, it goes with the flow. It changes the molecular structure of the water. So these were designed, and anyone can use them. My little kids have used them in the daycare, and you literally just go spray, crown down, spray all the way around, because your auric field is pretty large and in charge and expands out pretty far. You can also cleanse the sacred spaces, such as your altars. You can go ahead and use it for any kind of meditations. Transcendent is used for cleansing crystals and enhancing the vibration again to the crystals. Even selenite, just from a distance, you can actually spray it and don't have to worry about breaking it down. Don't make it where it's drenched, but just enough of the mist to cleanse it. So smudgeless sprays are fantastic. I have a whole line about them. You can take a look on our website or Etsy store if you're interested. But this is what I use. In fact, my smudgeless sprays, I can put them in diffusers. So I put a little bit inside and let it diffuse. I've also used it in my baths. Big deal. Everyone who's been using my waters knows that we use these for bath rituals, especially in a day like this. You want to take some of Transcendent or Prosperity or Love Me, whatever one that you want to zero in, put it all together, get yourself in that bathtub and start cleansing yourself and speaking what you want. So this is a great way for cleansing energy and for manifestation. Now I also use crystals to clear energy in case you can't use again, smoke. So you can use black tourmaline, like you can use, I have like big chunks of obsidian in the corners of my space. I have black tourmaline. I have like shungite. I have orgone pyramids. I don't mess around. I don't mess around with any kind of toxic electrical currents and negative energies. So I keep my space clean because we are a very spiritual family and we have a spiritual business. So we need to always be in our best version of ourselves so that we can help others to do the same. So crystals, you can grid your home inside and outside. You can create also a grid like what I have here. Another way for using a smudgeless aspect is using, for example, if you are a light worker and you have already been given the ignitions and the attunements for the Reiki to come in, take your Reiki, and I'm sure your teachers have shared this with you, take your Reiki and go throughout your space. You can eventually channel where you can create this big energy ball into your whole area and clear it all at once. You can place your symbols and use Reiki. If you are a Theta Healing practitioner like I am, I use Theta Healing to create commands, because remember, our words have power. We are using enchantment of our words and actions to send out what we are doing. We're shifting. So I use Theta Healing also throughout my space. Now, what if you're like, I'm not a Reiki teacher or a practitioner, I don't know Theta Healing. You may have other forms of using life force energy. Use it and channel it. But say you don't have any of those and you're like, well, I don't have that. Did you know that you just decluttering your home, dusting, mopping, vacuuming, using washes like Transcendent, or even using vinegar, using lemon in your water and cleansing your space is going to be very helpful. So like your floors, like I use Prosperity and Protect Me, and I put it in my solution, and I have a spray mop, and I use that to clean. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be cleaning up. And then you can also remember clearing everything, decluttering, because if you have a bunch of like newspapers in the corner, you have clothes just on the floor, trash is building up everywhere, the place hasn't been vacuumed or cleaned. Remember, energy gets stuck in curtains. It gets stuck in your fabric of your furniture. It's cluttered. It's just, imagine like dust molecules. If you can imagine dust, imagine as close as visibility you can get as energy. So you want to use those techniques in clearing. Now, another way that you can use to clear your space is if you have a white candle. Take your white candle, and I dress mine with my energy waters. You can even use your sage and go around and smoke the candle, placing your intention. You can use your frankincense and myrrh and do the same, or you can do all of them. You can even, the way I prepare my white candles is through all the ones that I've mentioned of how I clear and I amplify that candle so that it can signify what I am creating, like a new beginning, receiving my abundance, healing emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, energetically. Use a white candle and you can set your intentions. So once you prepare your candle or any other candle that you use, you just go ahead and light it and let it run all the way through. Make sure that it's in like either a glass bowl or aluminum. Make sure that it's not where kids and pets can get to it, because I've heard people dealing with that before, and you don't want that, to avoid any issues and be around that. So those are ways that you can cleanse your energy before you want to begin manifesting or meditating or healing, or just because you want to shift the energy in your space. Because when you shift the energy in your space, you're shifting the energy of what you're attracting in your life, period. And especially if you are super highly aware intuitively and you have children, these are very simple techniques that you can use. Now, say for example, you did all those things and it still feels funky. Then you need to contact someone who specializes in clearing attachments, influences that could be of a different level of consciousness, and that needs to be removed. So then you want to call someone professionally and have them remove those entities or wayward spirits or negative influences that you may not know how to channel or how to remove from your space safely. Then call people to do that. We do that. We have Serenity and myself. We use different methods based upon what the space is calling for it to use to clear it. And then we clear our spaces using either a vortex, where it's like opening a portal and letting things get cleared out. sending it to the highest heaven, calling in certain guides. There's different ways that you can use. So if all those things were like, I still feel that there's funkiness going on, like you're feeling there's paranormal, then you may need somebody to go in there. Either they don't have to be there physically, but to work on your space energetically. And before I learned how to do all this, I had no problem hiring people to do that for me. In fact, that's how I started to learn and really see the value and respect of these beautiful light beings that came in to intercede on my behalf when I didn't know how. So just wanted to give you a couple ideas. Let me know, share with me, what other ideas do you use to clear energy? Today I try to get as much as I can that I thought would be a little easier and tangible to try and to apply. So I'd love to hear from you. Thank you everyone, and wishing you a magical day. Love, insight, and healing. Bye.